Okay, I hope this is working now, or else I'm wasting my time. I've played a lot of the Dark Eye hack, the Dark Eye 1.s, and I started with really very little rules and only added what I really needed. And I'm very happy with that base system. So I'm going to use most of those rules for my other role-playing game, the Moons of Balethor, which you can find free on Google Drives. And I start by making a copy of the rules, so there will be an old version to go back from. So let's call these a Beta 2 and go right down to the rules. I want to get rid of character classes. Instead, I will make the special abilities you would get from your class into skill trees. You then can combine any of these skill trees freely. That might take a while to convert anything. Let's see how far we come today. So, pick a race, but they still have features, but no ability score mod class. Pick a rate, note, racial features. I'm still not sure if I actually got biological races or species. If they cannot create fertile offspring, they would be different species. But if they can interbreed, in a few centuries you would basically go down to just having one race. A super mishmashed race. And I'm unsure where I want to go with that. Maybe they can create offspring, but it would be infertile. Maybe only humans can create offspring with the other humanoid races. I'm not sure where to go with this. But probably these are probably some kind of species. Okay, pick a class. I have to let's give them just talent trees, class trees, skill trees, basically. So pick 2 skills from 1 or more. Alt 1 or 2 skill trees. So no more choosing starting skills. I'm getting rid of the starting equipment as well. I'll probably just give them some money. Yeah, roll starting coins. Roll starting coins. There's kinds to buy equipment. And I will probably create some equipment sets to make this process a bit more streamlined. This gives a character virtual and wise, maybe a scout, its ability to add spice. This could be an optional rule. My players would do something like that just by role-playing. But I'll leave it in here for now. Do final calculations, there won't be many. That's a good start. Talk to the GM and the other players about your tragic backstory and how they know each other. Yeah, that's basically what you do. A lot of abilities. What I use for the Dark Eye 1S is to roll 1d6 and add 7 for each attribute. So you get way less extreme attributes, way less extreme highs and lows. But I like the 4d6 for more heroic campaigns. Gives on average pretty good attribute scores. 3d6 is actually, if you are hard enough, you will get a few terrible attributes. The average will be somewhere around 10, 11. Second one's not bad, but let's also go with 1d6 plus 7, 6 times, 7 times, and most score. Allocate. Yeah. Okay. And now I will get rid of ability modifiers. If you ask me, that is unnecessary. And I think a roll under system is simpler, and therefore I like it more. It does basically the same thing. What gets rid of this rule, therefore I like it. Species. Just have to change the word. Oh yeah, it's gonna take a while. Let's copy and paste this also in here. Oh yeah. Sure. Get rid of all of that. That makes it a very quick step. Pick two skills. Choose 2 skills from 1 or more skill. Skill trees for 2 skills in total. And what did I call that? Roll starting point by equipment. Okay, so what I have to do is write in here how much starting points they should have. So a character should be able to buy a decent weapon and armor right at the start. Do I have prices for that in here? I fear I might not. I don't think I've got very elaborate equipment lists. Still got the price for vehicles, that's good. Ammunition adventuring gear. This could be fat. It's kind of a heading. Chemicals, powder, poisons. So I think every character should have the ability to buy a decent medium-sized weapons and maybe an armor. So they need about 100 coins minimum, and the rest should be a bonus. So go all the way back up. Let's lose my table of content for this. Each character starts the game with 100 plus 3d6 times 10, so they can get up to 18 times 10, 180 coins more, allowing them to buy more equipment. But they will at least have enough to get a decent weapon and some armor, or a weapon and some survival equipment. You as a GM can of course always modify this number, and maybe I will even modify this, but this should be a good starting point. Coins. Use this to buy starting equipment for Victor. Consume every... yeah. It's recommended to buy wilderness survival equipment. Buy at least one weapon, some travel equipment. Or I will probably call it adventuring gear. A set of adventuring gear and a set of adventuring gear. In this set I will put what I have in the gear for all the classes: a blanket, skin of water. So you can just buy that as a set and the players won't have to do that calculation on their own. This stays the same. I will get rid of hit points. Hit points will become one of my ability scores, so the final calculations will be a lot easier. That goes away. Note your weapons and their damage, their attack and defense modifier. Let's write that out. In my system, only the players roll, completely player facing, or maybe I roll damage. But usually, if a player is attacked, they roll on defensive. If they want to attack, they roll onto defense, and the enemies just got a static attack and defense modifier depending on how tough they are. And also you roll attacks on strength, so I won't give a melee attack damage bonus for strength, because already makes you more likely to hit. And we'll probably put a few basic combat maneuvers in here, like a cold shot, where you lower your own chance to hit and do that much more damage. Very basic stuff. Note your armor, yeah? Races, yeah, species. Oops. species is presented with a description as well as finally the stats, modifications and special racial traits. And only the special racial traits remain. Finally the special races traits they give to your character are listed. And now I can just get rid of the ability score modifiers. So this shouldn't be called stats, but special racial traits. Let's just call it the special traits. And let's call this traits. Oh dear, what's happening? Traits. If you hit too many keys on your keyboard at once. Yeah, I don't think I'm using land speed and flying speed anywhere. I just assume that everyone would know that you are much faster flying than you would be walking. I play with Theater of the Mind, not Battle Map. And I don't think I use land speed anywhere else in the world, so I can get rid of that. So this is the special racial traits. But there are. I should write somewhere that they can fly. This is kinda their thing. Arians have wing arms and can use them to fly like a bird. Next, dwarves. Stats will become traits. And dwarves have infravision. Dwarves of 50 probably have claws. Yeah, I think 1d6 is my base damage anyhow. Oh. Let me check with light weapons. Way down below. Equipment. I think they should do more than your fist in damage. Light weapons, knife, dagger, hatchet, clubstones. That's already a D4, and I don't think I have anything that does less damage than this. So, D6 for the claws. And they probably have an attack and defense modifiers. The probably is pretty good to attack. But you don't really want to defend with these claws. They are pretty small compared to the rest of the arm and the hand. It's too likely that you get hit in the hand or the arm when you try to parry with your natural dwarven dragon claws. So let's give these weapons some stats. These claws do 1d6 damage and attack defense modifier of 0 minus 2. Many weapons will have these modifiers, and if your weapon has a really bad defense modifier, you can take up a shield and use the shield for defense instead. Shields will probably be really useful after this rework, unless you have very heavy armor and don't care if you get hit. Okay, elves. Stats. Traits. Land speeds. Residual light amplification. Yeah, this is good. And finally, humans. Actually, in the Beta 1, this trait was completely useless because I got rid of the whole skill system. So humans were just a very poor choice. Now that the class features will be skills, will be my new skill system, this is pretty good. I don't think it's a bad trade-off for something like infravision or the ability to fly, depending on the circumstances. But now this is useful again, and it can be any skill. So I don't have to write that out. And one extra skill for a total of 3. Yeah. And then Dorian. Attack is an advantage on ability check, and giving unarmored base damage of 1d4. No, it's still, I think that's still the same off there. Same as fists. And I don't think they have quite as menacing claws as old dwarves will have. This goes to 1d base damage and have ATD modifiers of 0 minus 2. I will probably do something with like a fist will only do stun damage, and these will do real deadly damage. It's not a huge advantage. Let's don't want to give it 1d6 like the dwarves, but maybe +1. This is slightly better than hitting someone with your fist. It's not like these are very long claws that can do more than superficial damage. I think you could use them in the narrative. If you rake someone across the face with your claws, it could potentially blind them and do more damage than just punching them in the nose. It's the beta anyhow. Without player feedback, it's hard to know what's good and what's bad. So reworking the classes, this will take some time. But let's first go to the game systems. I have to explain the ability scores. And I think I will still use the same as in 6E. I'm not so sure about wisdom. In the Dark Eye I would use willpower instead, and that is not bad. Physical attacks do damage against Constitution, inflict damage to Constitution. Yeah, ignore 2 Constitution. 4 to 0 Cushion, or you are unable to fight. You are unable to fight. You become unable to fight and take any damage. In the chapter with the combat rules I will elaborate on this. But here I just have to put it in here so everyone knows that Constitution is an important ability. Multiclassing can get rid of this altogether. Get rid of ability modifier altogether. Ability checks. For this we roll a d10. Add any bonuses from skills, any bonuses, and from skills, skills, and if the sum is the same or lower as your ability score, you succeed. If it is higher, you fail. If you roll a natural 1, that is a critical success, you achieve an outcome that is better example. A natural 20 becomes automatic failure. The other side of the critical coin. You can have critical hits, you have to have critical fails as well. Whoever rolls a higher defense and their ability plus modifiers wins. Saving throws. Yeah, it's still the same. My saving throws are basically ability checks. And take the lower roll. And this should be small here. God, I'm writing a lot of things. Capital letter. Maybe that was deliberate a year ago. As these are concepts, these are all rules, so maybe actually leave it. These are all rule concepts. Help, spells, equipment, all rule concepts. Armor spell. Alright. Well, I take the higher. Action points. Yeah, he had advantage, they're still called hero points. Small things like this that you really only can iron out if you've got editors and proofreaders and playtesters. That's a lot of text to cover. Prize initiative. This is a very simple roll for initiative. I don't know why I'm not using this in the Dark Eye game. Maybe because I basically took the rules from the Dark Eye First Edition and they had an initiative roll. They just acted out in the order of their willpower. They didn't even roll on this. I'm having my characters do willpower checks and see who's got the lowest, who's got the highest difference to his ability. But I might switch to cinematic initiative. But I also got a huge number of players. Cinematic initiative is something I would feel more comfortable doing with 2 or 3 players. But I've got up to 7 players in the biggest group I've ever GM'd for. So having a strict initiative system helps you to make sure that everything has their spotlight, everyone gets their turns. Damage and healing. Hit points. Should call this physical damage. And this is now replaced by a constitution score. Score representing them getting turned, bruised, and scratched. But Constitution generates fast. As long as they are above null, it's not much of a problem. If the damage drops the character to 0 Constitution. Let me copy this. Gets ugly. Unable to act in combat to warn on her to do more than call. Any enemy can decide to knock them unconscious or inflict even more serious wounds as an action, without rolling. Second, he will get a serious wound. The GM can make something up, but he has a table for inspiration. Amount of Constitution below 0. Yeah, this stays the same. Yeah. There's no more attribute bonus. Roll the dice listed as a weapon or spell and have the list modifier. No attribute bonus. Constitution. And I will have other kinds of damage. Special damage. Damage to other attributes. If I wouldn't use wisdom, but instead willpower, I would have stress and horror reduce the willpower of the character. And if they fall to 0, they get a nervous breakdown and maybe some mental scars parallel to this system right here. I could just do that with wisdom, but then I would have to say that wisdom is also your willpower, and you could get damage to your wisdom. I might want to change wisdom. Wisdom is a strange stat anyhow. Right now it's mainly used for your senses. It's wisdom gives you attack bonus with crossbows and rifles. Intelligence. I could use intelligence as a measure of willpower. I could call this reason. That could work. Well, you perceive the world around you, sharpness of your senses. It's used for knowledge, science, problem, engineering, and mechanics. I think that would be a smaller change, and as you get mental damage, you take damage to your reason, for your ability to reason. So it stands to reason that if your reason drops to 0, you become mad, you become unreasonable, have a nervous breakdown. Yeah, let's call it reason. I kinda like that. The mental capacity, knowledge and intelligence. Mental capacity, knowledge and self-discipline. Well, it's called willpower somewhere. It's used for knowledge, science problems, engineering, mechanics. Say from mental health. Some attacks. Scenes of horror spells can do damage to your reason. If your reason falls, the reason holds the have mental nervous breakdown. The GM just do a period here. Then we'll decide how that manifests. If you just fall unconscious, if you go into a berserker rage, if you go into a panic and flee. Maybe I should give some examples here. Just conscious. To a mind rage. So if you suffer horrible hallucinations. Okay, I think I can work with this. So now I can add another mental damage. Let me just make a copy of all of this and then do it all over again for mental damage. Okay. Healing, hit points, constitution. All constitution. This should now be other attribute. I think I don't use attribute, it's ability now. Since this ability damage is an element of my wound system, other ability damage than constitution or reason. It's 1 point area, that's nice west. Yeah, let's use the same area as unable to rest properly for any reason. Cannot regenerate constitution or reason. Huh. I think that will work out well. Encourage them and tell them that Snake Plissken look badass with that eye patch. This is not a bad system if you ask me. Usually some players will be pissed if their character gets a disability, loses an eye or a hand, and start whining, oh no, he's unplayable, I want to make a new character. But if this scar wound disability system makes them get action points, they can use action points to do cool stuff. So it's sugar bread and the leash. I should probably introduce action points of some form in my The Dark Eye Dark campaign. But it's hard to keep track of those if players aren't at your table. I would have to carry a list. Physical damage. Listed into weapon. Okay, so let's put physical damage and let's put mental damage right here. The character as a reason score. Representing the mental fortitude. Mental fortitude, right? It's not their actual sanity, but the fortitude and stress resistance. It's not the actual sanity. When they take let's see. Besides suffer, do horrible deeds, are the victim of let's go with horrible again. Horrible spells. Etc. The damage is subtraction from the reason score. Rather than getting tired. Agitate. Tired. maxed out. Reason regenerates fast as long as they are above 0. Damage drops the character to 0. It's not at all. For 1. Panic attack. Rage. And the GM decide how they act for the rest of the scene. The scene there, that's better. Any enemy can decide to knock them. Scratch that. I'm not sure how to call this. They will suffer trauma, mental trauma. Second, suffer mental trauma. Grim can make some ramp, but he has a tail for inspiration. Oh, the D20 amount of reason below 0. And call this trauma now. And now do a whole list with 24. Oh dear. Nothing serious. Lucky. Yeah. Pierce shoulder disadvantage on strength checks. Oh dear, let's say confused. On wisdom checks. Head trauma disadvantage on intelligence. Reason checks. It's not head trauma. What else could it be? Confused out of it. Already have a discussion. I got this for basically every attribute. Let's go back then. What mental trauma could give you a disadvantage on strength checks? It's how to use your strength. Let's call it phantom pain. Cut to your hand. This would be unbalanced. I need to look this up. Dizzy. Dizzy. Disadvantage on dex roll. Disadvantage on con check. What could give you disadvantage on constitution checks? Seitenstiche. Doesn't know it. Strange. Scoop note. Side stitches. Why not? That's pretty straight ahead. Head trauma. I think this should be minor. Something I can't quite recall. Confusion. Percussion. Minor. Oh, just ringing ears. Minor hallucinations are just ringing ears, disadvantage on wisdom checks. There should be space in here. Aggravated. I don't think I can come up with 24 things for mental trauma. This will be a challenge. Let's take minor hallucinations right here. Panic attack. It's called if someone freezes in combat. Is there a name for that? They freeze under stress. Head chop cleanup. They go completely mad. They become possessed by Elder God, like the constant NPC. Now there's so much instant kill here. Right foot chopped off. They suffer depression. Left eye gouged out. See ability to see color. Right eye explodes. May lose their scent of taste. Not scent, sense. Nervous tick. Right arm crushed. Hope. Oh, could that be nervous tick? Uncontrolled trembles. Left leg complicated, bright. Right leg cut to pieces. Lose all sense of balance. They get a funny walk. Leave a like and comment below if you know what I mean with funny walk. Slash gods, they lose bowel control. Why not? Ripped artery. This is something that could kill you pretty quickly, but that can still be treated. Punched along the same. Pierce arc and broken neck is an instant character write-off. So this could be something that, like, horrible hallucinations. Major psychosis. So that makes the character unable to continue the adventure. So I need something that is not completely disabling for here. But already bad enough. Lip commute. And this Pierce Heart is something that kills you instantly. By an Elder God character becomes an NPC, major psychosis. Major amnesia. Go back to level 1. I think this is funny. Won't be funny for the player. But remember, this is something you can recover from, either by just going up through all of the levels again and then just play it like you're slowly remembering, or maybe you take a whole other skills than you did before, or maybe you have like one adventure where you try to get through your amnesia and get your memory back. Then you would go right back to your original level. Yeah, I think I can use some of these traumas on inconvenience and coping times. Other will be harder to treat and can leave permanent scars. See disabilities and scars. Some will be deadly soon if not treated fast. Some will kill the character. Some will make the character unplayable outright. Play one-armed bandit. Play a tragic hero. Yeah, okay. Okay, I have to rework the max dex bonus. Oh. Let's call it handling. For all 38 checks. Try. And copy that. The draft animals. Yeah, let's leave that there. That's pretty darn good, but it only goes down from here, and the motorcycle is very impractical otherwise. But I think I should make this probably 3, no, just 2. 1, and pickup is already at 0. Well, let's put this at 1. I still got the truck for 0. Let's make the motorcycle really well handled. I'm writing short stories and a novella in Thunder, and so far there hasn't been any motorcycles or cars or pickups or any of this. I'm not sure they have a place in the setting anymore. I know where they would exist, but they would be really, really rare. There is not much metal on Thunder. I mean, you can make vehicles mostly of wood. You only need some metal for the engine. I haven't described the region where you could get these things. None of the stories have been set in there. In all other regions they would use horse or bird-drawn carriages and wagons. Or boats. There certainly hasn't been any planes yet. There was an airship once, certainly no planes. But I think somewhere on Thunder they exist. They have the technology to build all of this. They're just really starved for resources. Let's keep it in there. Okay, vehicle combat. These are very general rules. I think they could stay the same. Equipment, money and bartering. Weapons. I will have to put starting money somewhere. I did put that on the character creation, how much you get. I just have to put the adventuring gear in here. The adventuring kit. Oh. Let's see. Let's add a roll right here. No, not here. Let's add a row above. Adventuring kit. Know what? I don't want to. Just get rid of the adventuring kit again. Characters can buy what they want. It's really not that big of a deal. Some adventuring equipment. Like a backpack, torches, and some rations. Yep. Okay, I still have to rework all of the classes into skill trees. That will take some time, but I'll be calling it a day for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.